Welcome to the Geeky Grandma with an Encouraging Nudge podcast. Hi, my name is Jill McCarthy from Central New York State, and this is our 52nd podcast. And today I have a guest named Linda on my show. And rather than read a bio, I'm going to just tell a little story on how we met. Linda's is a brand new acquaintance of mine, and we just met less than a month ago. And it was a Friday night, and some high school friends of my husband's said, "Let's go out when your son plays at his next gig." My second son is a bass guitar player, and he was in a new group and a new place, and the other couple wanted to see him play. So here we go, off to a Friday night with some music and some friends, and come to find out, Linda was also friends with these same people. So, excuse me. We're sitting at this nice outside table, and there's lots of sand on the ground, and we're talking away, and all of a sudden we get talking about that I do a podcast. The next thing I know, Linda said, "Hey, I'll be your podcast guest." And we said, "Well, what can we talk about?" Well, there was a topic she knew about that I'd never had a guest on about before. So, excuse me. And so she says, "I've been through a divorce, and I bet you that's something that some of your other listeners have been through as well. So, how about if we bring that up and what it's like to be on the other side of a divorce, and then talk about some of the things that I went through to help me out?" And I says, "Terrific. Let's book a podcast." So we did that, and we survived the tech troubles, and here we are. Hello, Linda.
Hello. Yep, we certainly did. You're very. I'm not tech savvy, never have been, never will be.
Well, that's why we have geeky grandmas in the world. We each have a special spot. And Linda was a very, very friendly gal, and easy to talk to and easy to get to know. So we're talking about Linda. And Linda, about how long ago was it that you went through a divorce?
Oh, it's been over 5 years now, closer to 6. Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to just tell very briefly? Was it? I mean, never is a good situation, or wouldn't be a divorce. But did you have to deal with any type of abuse?
Yes, I did. I did.
Mm. Okay.
And I should have left a long time ago, but I didn't. He left me. And at first I didn't want him to leave. And now when I look back 5 years later, I am so glad it happened. And that was why when I met you, I said, you know what? There's got to be somebody out there that was in the same situation that I was in and said, I can't do this. And I did it. I did it. Um,
Oh,
yeah, and I'm an
and,
older person. I mean, I'm going to be 60 next month, so there you go. It's never too late.
okay, and that some of our listeners are in that age, a little above, a little below, wherever. But and I bet you that feeling is I should have left way earlier might be true for a lot of other ladies out there. What do you think?
It's true. It's true. I we lacked self-confidence. When you are with someone who is a narcissist and an abuser, they make you think that you're the problem and that you cannot live without them. And boy, did I believe that. Yeah.
Yeah. So they kind of get in your head, and it feels kind of squirrely in there. Is that say it in a nutshell?
It is. It is. And plus, I had two children at home. Now my children are 23 and 26. And I didn't realize that they saw what they saw until after it was over with. And I discussed things with them, and that's when I said, yeah, you were right. It's very tough. It's very tough. And there is the Vera House and places out there, but most people don't want to live in shelters with children. They don't. It's a very sad environment. So you choose to stay where you're at instead of being in a sad place. It is. It's tough. So
I,
you worry about, am I going to be able to get an apartment? Am I going to be able to pay the security deposit and the month's rent? If you're going to lose your job or not, what's going to happen? Because you get used to that second income, and you just, like I said, you stay for all the wrong reasons.
okay, you beat me to it. I was going to say there has to be a financial side, and you just talked about that. Um, is is there one of those that probably pops up more in the women's head thinking about it? The where do I go? The money. Is there one that hits more people than others?
Probably the money. Money is the biggest issue. Um, but for me, I'm a planner, and as soon as I got served with the papers and I knew it was well, actually, I knew a year before it happened that he was going to leave because he said to me, I have to tell people this, it makes me laugh to this day. He says to me, if you one more time, if you mess up, I'm out of here. And I'm thinking, what am I, a child? And you're putting me in timeout. So I knew something was up. And that's when my advice is to plan. So when we lived together, I kept telling him I was broke all the time, broke, and I managed to hide money from him. And I'll tell you, I tell my kids the same advice now. Even when you get married to anybody, have your own account separate from your husband. You never know what's going to happen. You need that rainy day fund. And that's what got me my month's rent, my security deposit, and money to move on. So I was okay. I was okay. Um, but the mental stress part, you just gotta one baby step at a time. You just gotta say, I can do this. I mean, I cried, I was sad, I was angry. I went to counseling. I would recommend that. That helped a great deal to realize that you are an important person and your thoughts and feelings are very important. They may not be right, but they're important.
Okay, that's a good point. So, you beat me to it. I was going to say, what kind of support did you find after or before? When did you? What else support wise did you run into?
Oh, I also went to church.
Due to the sensitive nature of today's episode, I would like to put in this disclaimer that neither my guest nor myself is an expert in the area we're discussing today. These are merely the recounting of one person. If you have a similar situation, please seek out the professionals in your own area and make sure to keep yourself safe. Thank you.
I downloaded a lot of apps on your phone. Like you could get a positive thought every day, you can get a prayer every day. And you just, like I said, it's all about keeping yourself positive. Even when something bad happens, you look at the bright side of it. That's all you can do. Um, um,
And
because
that's good.
even after going through my divorce, when I ran into him, that was really hard. That was really hard because you gotta read something positive to say, no, I don't deserve this. So,
Yeah. So rebuilding. How you said it's taken you five. You're 5 years out now. About how long would you tell a woman just going through it? First, you want to get through the moment, and then you take the baby steps, and you get the support. And how long till you finally started to say, "Aha, I'm me again"?
well, if I could tell a quick little, can I tell a quick?
Absolutely.
Okay, so through counseling and my spiritual thing, I always wanted forgiveness from him. For him to, and I've never gotten, I'm sorry, and I'll never get that. So he was over to my apartment one day, and an incident happened. Not going to go into details. It was very personal, but I'll just say this to anybody who's listening. I wish I would have not made it through the night. Okay. He beat me very badly. And I apologized to him for not doing what I was supposed to do that night. And when he turned to me and said, "It wouldn't have happened if you just would have done what you were supposed to do." And I'm thinking to myself, wow, what an ass. He didn't apologize. See, again, he made me think that it was my fault. And it was like a weight lifted off my shoulder. And I said, no, no, no. Nobody has any right to hit anybody for any reason, man or woman. I don't hit my children. I've never hit my children. And I feel that never should you ever strike another person in your life. Walk away, walk away. So
Right.
that, yeah, you know.
If if somebody was in a dire, not it's all dire, but if somebody was in a potential space where they're getting beaten, attacked, what could they do short term instantly to get out of there? Do you have any thoughts for that?
Well, I never did leave, which was terrible. I realize it's sad to say, um, because of who he was, the police did not help. The police did not help. I that was when I cried a lot and I thought, is this my life? Is this my life? You know, I don't know. Everybody's situation is different. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, friends that I could have gone and stayed with, but I was too embarrassed to involve them. No one really knew what happened until I tell them now. And sometimes I don't even tell my closest friends what happened to me because um I don't want them to think that why didn't you do something sooner? Why didn't you? It's a very, very hard situation. I can understand why women go back. And that was why I wanted to do this podcast. I can understand why that woman goes back every time she's been hit. She feels secure, she feels safe, she worries about money, she has children. But I mean, if she could come stay with me for a week, do this, I would be a really good, not that I want to do it, but you can do it. You just gotta find a friend, someone you could really trust to stay with. Because I had no family in the area. I have no family in the area where I live. I have a brother who lives very far away, like 10 hours away, and that's it. And my parents are deceased, so I have nobody here, nobody. So,
So
yeah,
that feeling alone is one of the things that makes it you stay longer in the situation. If
you
you don't
do,
know
you
where to
do.
go, you're worrying, and you still
Yeah,
got all that monkey mind going on if you're
yeah,
dealing
you
with an
do.
abusive, and well, part of that whole narcissist or whatever is they kind of, even if you had friends or family, kind of cut you off from them, and so you don't
Yes.
have a support system that makes you a prime candidate for it.
Yeah, because some of your friends think that you're the problem. I lost a lot of friends through the divorce, a lot of friends. But that's okay because then you find out who your real friends are. And the friends that we met up with have been through me through thick and thin, but I don't even think they know the whole story, the whole story.
Right.
So. But they did see some of the stuff that I didn't see, but they never talked about it till after I was divorced. And that's how friends are. They see things, but they don't ever, I guess no one's as outspoken as I am because, boy, now that I'm divorced and alone, I speak my mind.
She's very good at this. That's why I knew it wouldn't be a problem getting her to talk with a mic. So,
Yeah.
uh, but, but think about that. Just back up for a minute. Now that you're through the worst of it all, um, is there a way to encourage a woman that would be in it to say, you need a short-term plan if you had to get out of there, or like keep your
You
keys in your
do.
pocket?
You do.
Yeah,
That's why people laugh that I keep a little nest egg hid in my place. You always keep where you can get your social security card, a little money, because you can only take out $500 at an machine at a time. And let's say you got to really get out of here and you have to make sure your vehicle's in your name, even if you're married. It's very important, and it's hard when you're married to a controlling person, but you just got to find a way to not let them know what you're doing. And that it sounds terrible, but you got to be sneaky, very, very sneaky. So
yeah, that is tricky. I'm sure it would feel sneaky, but you have to be ultimately responsible for you and your safety. And you throw in
yeah,
some kids, that makes it even more worrisome. But so
yes.
so having keeping that support system, that might be a good, if you see your support system being hampered so that you can't see them, then that's a trigger to say, hey, wait a minute, they're my friend, and I want to go see them, and to to be aware of that type of thing. I know in the
Mhm.
middle of it you probably don't think of it, it's always hindsight, but just trying to think if there's anything we could tell to the women that are in the midst of it or just coming through it. Do you have any words that we could say to them?
Well, okay, it's very important too to find out what your rights are. For an example, we had a house together and both our names were on the mortgage, and he left. I was stuck with the house. I was stuck with the mortgage, but because it was in both our names, really, even though he didn't live there, we were both responsible for the mortgage. And the only way he could make me pay is if he took me to court. So if you're dealing with someone that does not have a lot of money, and they're not going to take you to court, so don't, even though they threaten you with it, don't worry about it. So find out your rights, and there is free legal advice out there. And ask a lot of questions. No question is ever wrong. No question is ever stupid. So
Right.
yeah.
Somebody else has dealt with some part of it out there that
Hmm.
that can be a support system for you. Um,
Yes. Yes.
Anything you want to say on the kids' end about how they
Well,
come
my
out the
kids,
other side?
thank God my kids were not his kids. That's a benefit. If you do have children together, that's going to be a little harder, a little harder. And that's when I say find out your legal rights. Because I'll tell you, men have rights, even though they could be jerks, they have rights, and it's sad. It's really sad. Yeah. So,
Okay.
um,
All right. Do you have any last thought of a word? Are you one of your positive words for somebody that might be dealing with this today?
God, I had a million before with this podcast, a million. But y- you can do it. You know, don't think positive, reach down in there, have your good cry, get it over with, because you're going to cry. You're going to cry. You're going to get sad. You're going to get mad. But then when it's all done and over with, pick up and go on. And you know what? Other advice: don't turn to alcohol. Don't turn to alcohol, because it's just going to make you more depressed. I joined a gym. I find going and working out my stress there. And here's my thought: I don't worry about things that I cannot control. If I can't control it, don't worry about it. It will somehow work out. There you go. So,
Very good. All right. So I'm going to say goodbye to you and goodbye to
okay.
our listeners. And thank you very much, Linda, for being on our show.
Oh,
Bye bye.
anytime, anytime. All right, bye-bye.
All right. Bye bye. See you in the funny papers. Bye bye for now.